The Average Hockey Fan here, and today I'd like to review Montreal's terrible loss against Tampa last night. It wasn't overall a bad game until the third period. It's almost like a repeat of the Nashville game. Two strong periods and in a poor third period where Tampa just opened up the floodgates. 3 goals in the third period. Montreal did have an earlier goal in the second period, but it was waved off because Kotkaniemi was a hair offside, as the commentator said. Anyways, let's get into the numbers for that game. As for Tampa, they had 37 shots. They had 24 hits. They won 59% of the faceoffs. Once again, they were killers on the power play because they went 1 for 4 on the power play, 25%. They were 2 for 2 on their penalty kill. Their scores all came in the third period. All their goals came in the third period. Opened up with Kucherov with a power play goal. Montreal was doing a good job shutting down Point and Stamkos with the shots on the power play. And they were pretty much letting Kucherov have that shot from that same spot. He had like 3 shots from the same spot. And you give Kucherov that many open shots. I know he's the creator, but his shot is good enough. You give him that many open shots, even though Price can't see the puck. He's eventually going to bury one, and he did. He had about 4 shots on that power play, and he finally got one past Price. They had a previous power play before that where they did nothing. The penalty kill looked great. In the second period, it was pretty good penalty kill, too. Yanni Gourde had the next goal. It was two forwards were coming up the ice, and it ended up turning the puck over. Tampa came back, 2-on-1 rush over to Gourde. Gourde with a beautiful shot, similar to what Nylander did in Toronto. Right over Price's shoulder, under the bar. Can't blame Price on that one. Beat him clean. Rocket of a shot. Gourde does got a nice shot. Assisted by Point and Kucherov. And the Kucherov goal was assisted by Stamkos and Palat. So Kucherov was on the first 2 goals. Then Dale Weiss takes a really stupid penalty late in the period. I know that Yanni Gourde was in front of Price and had a lot of problems with Domi and he was being an agitator. But Weiss pretty much jumped on his back, took a dumb penalty. Montreal was only down by 2. They could have came back. They managed to kill off the penalty, but right after that, a little shortly after that, Johnson scores. Beautiful goal. Stamkos assists it. Palat assists it. Johnson was happy to get that. You could tell because he had one waved off. Prior to that, where Hedman blasted a shot from the point, Johnson tipped it in, but it was waved off because his skate collided with Price's skate, which negated Price from moving the pad, so they say. I thought it was a pretty bad call, but I was happy to take it as a Habs fan. As for the Habs, they had 0 goals, so they got no scores, nothing like that. They had 37 shots, 23 hits, 40% faceoffs. They were 3 for 4 on their penalty kill. Obviously, Tampa had a power play goal, like I said, and 0 power play goals for the Habs. So once again, the power play does nothing. Vasilevsky played really good. Habs had some really good chances. There was one chance where Drouin walked in. He ended up getting the puck passed right next to him, right in front of the net. Beautiful backhand, tried to tuck it 5-hole, didn't work. Bounced off Vasi's pad. Somebody else came in, I think it was Deneau, and a point-blank shot, and he couldn't beat him. Tatar had a couple of good opportunities. Galley had a couple of good shots, but they just couldn't beat Vasi all night. They did beat him on one beautiful play where Kotkaniemi managed to keep it in the sideboards, get it over to Galley. Galley got it over to Kulak for an open net goal, but it ended up being offsides, like I say. Tampa's coach challenged it, so there was two separate goals turned back, 1 for each team in this game. The goalies, Price had a solid game. Even though Price didn't get the win, he had a solid game. If it wasn't for Price, it really could have been a 6-0 game, 5-0 game. Tampa had some quality opportunities, and that glove was excellent and sharp for Price. He's going to have to be sharp tonight against Florida. I hope they play him against Florida. I've been hearing it's going to be Niemi. They need these points too bad to risk putting Niemi in it. Niemi is reliable sometimes, but every now and then he has a stinker. He has a bad game where he starts off bad, and the whole team just seems to go with him. And I don't want one of these games against Florida. They need this win. This is a team they can beat. They should have Price in net tonight. Rested or not, they should have him in net because it's a big win they need. As for Price, .910 save percentage in the game. Stopped 34-37. Vasilevsky had to shut out 1,000% save percentage, obviously. Stopped all 37 shots. So it was brutal. Brutal loss for the Habs. Carolina also won. Thankfully, Pittsburgh lost. Carolina's now in the wild card spot. Pittsburgh's chasing Carolina and Montreal. They're 1 point behind Carolina. They're 1 point behind Montreal. Carolina's 1 point behind Montreal for that first wild card spot. Montreal has a game in hand, so it's very tight in the Atlantic Division. Not even a week ago, Montreal had a 6-point lead on Carolina, and they were in 3rd spot. And it would have been Montreal and Toronto had to win the playoffs that day. And now it's looking like it's going to be Boston, Toronto, and Montreal is either going to end up playing Tampa or the first seed in the Metropolitan Division, which isn't looking good for Montreal. Although if it was Columbus, I think they could beat Columbus. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's the game from last night. Terrible game. Sorry about the late review, guys. Wasn't something I was going to jump into right away. I kind of had to get over it. As a Habs fan, this is devastating. I know it was a tough 4-game stretch, but they were looking so good after the All-Star break. To see him lose these last 3, even though they got a point out of one of them, it just sucks. We want to keep a winning trend going. I'd like to see Embiid do something to improve this team, get something on the power play. I know he said he don't want to deviate from the plan. He wants long-term. He's focused on the long-term. He's not worried about short-term fixes, but he needs something on his power play. This team isn't going to win without a power play, without any power play goals, with abysmal 13% power play. That's already been shown. They're a solid team, 5-on-5. They're good defensively for what they got. They could upgrade maybe and get a left-handed D. A couple things MB could do to improve the team. I still think they're a playoff team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I see them stronger than Carolina. They're just as strong as Pittsburgh, but it's a tight race. We need this win tonight. Wait for the recap, guys. I'm going to send out a Florida versus Montreal review, and then I'll do a recap of the game as well. So keep an eye out for the review. Hopefully you like the video, guys. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Appreciate the views. Appreciate the comments. Feel free to comment. I always check my comments. This is Mr. Average Hockey Fan, over and out. Have a great day, folks.